showing no emergency or priority traffic will continue. This repeater does have a 3-minute timer, so please keep that in mind during your transmission. And we ask that you keep your first transmission under this 3-minute time limit and use the second. We're just going to ask any of you if you have any comments and allow you to check in at that time, and then we'll go back and pick up your comments instead of just assuming that every ECHOLINK station does have its comments. So we'll try it. Don't have to worry about it right now. We're going to go hear from everyone else first. So we're going to start with our short time stations first. Take those stations that are on their way to work or short on time and can't be here for the entire net. So let's pause now for short time stations. This is the W9DOR net. This is W9OBD, your net control station. KA9ARZ. Alpha Bravo 9, November. Late or right on time. Or maybe it depends on the event. So let us know what your take on that deal is. So we'll go to ARZ, then NN, and F4GGO. Take it away, Kevin.
Thanks, Rick. W9OBB. This is KA9ARZ. A very good morning to all on the final Tuesday of fall, where I guess we might have a resurgence in above freezing weather, and yeah, locally, with highs forecast to be above freezing for the next several days. So, ready to head out the door for a full day of work. City Council meeting tonight of the meeting tonight there. So, yeah, I'm glad to hear, Terry is on the net, so basking in the glory of the Tampa Bay victory over Green Bay on Sunday in the Terry Artie Bowl there. So, speaking of the robo time and so on, could replicate Artie there. So, just to say it would go on, indefinitely there, would not, cease to operate, so to speak, there, could, rely on it, keep going and going and going there. So, hopefully we won't have, if the winds come down today, we won't have the situation with the, crackle fest like we did yesterday. We had the Washington Island gale force winds there. So, anyways, speaking of the wind and weather conditions, let's see how things are on the other side of the lake with AB9NN from KA9ARZ.
Okay, good morning to everybody on the Good Morning Net from John, 89NN and Beulah, North 14, Michigan, straight south, rolling 9 miles inland, got about an S8 to an S9 on the repeater this morning, good clear audio and no crackling that I can hear of. Was quite a bit from the weaker stations. It was odd. It was only the weaker stations that had the crackling. So that must have been coming off of the receive antenna, I would think, or the receive side. Let's see, answer the question right away. I definitely make a habit of trying to arrive early. If I'm late, I'm right on time. If I'm right on time, I consider myself pretty much late. I try to arrive maybe about 10 minutes early for most things. I just think that's the polite thing good. And we're doing some scanning on my RTL-SDR radio dongle this morning. HF bands are coming in pretty good on 40, 80, and AM broadcast bands. We're all perking up there. Just going to be doing some reading today, and probably a few errands. Got to go get the mail and that sort of thing, but not much else going on. So with that, I guess it's over to Perry for GDO, and I wanted to get in early this morning. I'm going to try to decode the Russian weather satellite again. Since they've launched the new Russian weather satellite, I haven't been able to get that decoded. I think it's something with my signal strength. I'm not sure if it's the setting or the satellite. So that's the rabbit hole we run down this morning. So with that, over to our GDO for maybe and then John. Good morning, everyone.
Thank you. This is Kilo Alpha Snyder, Whiskey Alpha Romeo. K9DXG. 9 UUV.
59 KMA.
9 UPD. Hey.
Kilo Delta 9 Golf Delta Alpha. Artie, I hope you're doing okay.
Net control, KC Kilo Charlie 9, Lima November Zulu, and Artie, not sounding too good, but I hope you're getting better. Good morning.
over in England, G1AEU. And then we have Stanley up in Lake Linden, UP, it looks like. And I'm not familiar with that one, but we're gonna take your transmission if you'd like. WB8 QZ or QZ. And then we're gonna go to Jack, KA9 TQC, followed by Dave, AB9 DK. And finally, we're gonna go to Eric, KB9 DIC. That's the ECHOLINK station. I mentioned the top of it. After we go into the VHF stations, we're going to go back for comments, but this time we're going to do it a little different, and I will ask each of you with a comment to check in, and then we'll pick up your comments at that time instead of just arbitrarily expecting everyone to have a comment. So let's go to Michelle over in Appleton, K9TU W9. OBB, welcome to the Door County Good Morning Net.
Good morning, Rick, W9 OBB. This is KNGU in Door County in here with a tired and I'm sorry. I'm in Appleton. Sometimes I make the mistake in here. We are in Appleton all the time in here. Anyway, the temperature is 16, definitely lower than before. The barometric pressure 30 decimals 17, and the humidity outside it is 80% in here. And it's slightly overcast, not too much anyway. Anyway, in the house, I measured the humidity in our house also. It's down to 28%, which is quite a bit less than usual in here. I don't know that we will feel a sort of thing or not, but anyway, it's interesting to see the variations of temperature outside of the house also, and we don't see what that does to our way of life in here. We don't have any big plan today to follow or anything like this, but I'll keep listening on the night and see what happens and so on, and talk to you again later on if anything arises in the meantime in here. Anyway, I'll pass it on to the next station. I missed the call number of the next station, but I'll listen again when he comes back or she comes back and so on. And anyway, good morning to all this morning. This is K9GU in Appleton and here.
You are receiving now. I do take a break because I was double. So I do this bell, and good morning to this bell's wife, who I have directing is 58. And then when he is, I know he hasn't moved. He has moved from somewhere else. And I see sometimes not got used to that move. Anyway, I know the new 15 this today. I always wondered why the ARROUND people had a cover have that next to me. Anyway, I really we went back to this way. The prayer is going to be his system. Well, I know nothing to be anything, but I want to get to me. I don't like to be early. very much. I'll go to Brazil next day. So, he's on me done no. I have to go to a game of it with the right top flight. What would I do?
You are up next, and I see we're joined by Phil, W3TOS. He's at the end after Larry, KB9DIT. So Stanley, WBAQJZ, take it away.
Thank you much, Rick, and good morning to everyone from WBAQJZ. And it's lying. We're not in Lakeland, Michigan right now. We're in Port St. Lucie, Florida, in our winter home, and enjoying the nice weather, although we have a little bit of a cool snap going through here. We were down in the high 40s this morning, and we're now up to 57 degrees. Going to be lucky if it makes the low 60s today. But the sun is out, the rain is over. We did get about 4.5 inches of rain, and we had real strong, gusty winds, tropical force winds last week, and that was kind of interesting. We were playing in a shuffleboard tournament on Thursday and Friday up in Melbourne, and the seas were about 40 miles an hour, and then there were gusts, so you had to worry about getting knocked over. But other than that, not too bad, and we enjoyed that, had some fun, and just kind of been tied up with all kinds of meetings and organizational things and whatnot. I have a meeting this afternoon I got to head prepare to, so we'll get ready for that. We celebrated Christmas a little bit earlier this year with our neighbors. We have some folks that are heading north to Pennsylvania and Rhode Island for the holidays, so we got together last night and had dinner and good conversation, and certainly enjoyed that. So had a good time. Thank you much for allowing me to join in on the net. I do like to listen in here, and I hope we're making it okay on our little GD73 radio through our node here. So back to you, Rick, again. Thank you very much, and Merry Christmas to all from WBAQJZ.
Thank you very much, Dan. Good to be here. And I know exactly where Port St. Lucie is because I used to live in Palm City, just to the west of Stewart, Florida. So just a beautiful, beautiful place there. So glad the rain has finally stopped. Thank you for joining us, Stanley. You are welcome here anytime. Please come back and join us for the Door County Good Morning Net. Let's go to Jack next, KA9TQC, then over to Dave, KB9DK, Larry DIP, and then Phil TOS. Phil, you're going to turn it over to Artie, KA9WAR. Jack, good to hear from you. Pick it up.
Good morning, Rick, and everybody on the net, KA9TQC. Well, it's now up to 17. It was 14 when I looked at the thermometer earlier. And like everyone, I barely recognized Artie's voice, so I'll be more than interested to hear how he is actually feeling this morning. I was on my Florida net this morning. I was in the low 50s on the west coast of Florida, and our next door neighbors are still on a mooring boat at Key West, having a miserable time. I mean, they had a dinghy that had an outboard failure, and people flew by them in the
in the middle of the night screaming for help. So all kinds of drama going on down there in the weather, and it's definitely been nicer up here. I kiddingly tell them they should become sunbirds and travel up here for this kind of December weather cold fronts that perpetuate in that area. So not much else to report other than entering my last 2 weeks as president of this esteemed organization. One more Zoom meeting, and then I'm going to let my paid Zoom subscription lapse. That's my first sign of retirement. So over to you, Dave. AB9DK, KE9TQC.
Hi, Larry. Thanks. Sorry. Very nice story. Anyway, not much going on here. Took the dog out for a walk and didn't go too far because wind is still, well, wind isn't as bad as it was yesterday, but it's still chilly out. Had to pull the dryer apart. My clothes dryer was not working properly, so I pulled that thing apart. Found all kinds of problems with that. Hopefully I got it working a little better than it was, because it seems like all I heard from my wife was how bad the dryer was working. So we'll see. And we got the Q2 day today, so head off to that and do what everybody else is doing. So anyway, that's all I got. Turn it over to Larry, KB9DIP, this KB9DK.
Okay, we'll try it today, see if I got any better. There was an update to the app. I get that to the KB9DIP Larry, Algonquin, Illinois. Gonna make stuffed peppers in the Instapot today, make the rest of my fudge for the holidays, and that's all I've got going on. Hopefully I can disengage. KB9DIP over to Phil. Thank you.
Good morning. DIP. W3, DOL. All right, I was finally able to get in this morning to the app, so I thought I would step in, let everybody know that I'm finally out of the hospital, doing well. People didn't know I had a real bad belly weight, infection that I had in my leg, and real bad accident. They've also discovered some other problems with me in terms of my ventilation, and looks like they may have been some oxygen that things that we have. Still working on that. Meanwhile, I'm out of the hospital. So I want to thank everybody for their thoughts. So I had a bad thought for directed some other people who did it very much. Otherwise, everybody have a good morning. Enjoy your day. So turn it over to Hardy. KA9WAR. W3 DOI. Good morning, Hardy.
Good morning, Phil. This is KA9WAR. And thank everybody for the goodwill wishes. And I am feeling better. But I'm way behind the schedule of the things that I have to do. Christmas is coming, and I just don't feel like doing anything. But I guess that's the way things work. This all happened last Thursday when we were out to lunch, and we sat across the table from somebody that should have stayed home, and
And when they did cough, they did try to protect the people on the other side. But anyway, as far as the question goes, we try to always be early. But in the military, you should be early or you should be late. You should be exactly on time. But sometimes that doesn't happen. K-A-9-PXG, this is K-A-9-WAR. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Artie. Hope you keep getting better. Hate to hear anybody not feeling well, but sounds like you're coming around a little bit. That sounds good. Depends on the situation. For being to work, I was always early. I considered late as 15 minutes early. So, but showing up at people's houses, I prefer being right on time, or depending on the situation. So, I prefer right on time. I will not be late, if at all possible. So, very good question. I know some people are terrible. I was talking to a guy that his sister was just horrible at it. She was always late. So, I always calculate ahead and how much time I need to get from place to place. Like today, I have to have a protein check, and I'm going to do that on the way to CQ3 Tuesday. So it kind of starts at 11:30, but most people are there at quarter after. So there's another example of people getting there early. Not too much planned today. Did a lot of planing yesterday. Tom stopped by and seen my pile of sawdust everywhere. So I got to get rid of that one of these days. I got 5 55-gallon barrels or plastic bags full of sawdust. So we'll send it over to Bruce, K9DXG.
Morning, Bob. W9UUB. Punctuality. Yeah, it all depends, I think. If you're doing a dinner party, don't come early. A lot of times they're doing the final tune-up, and you're just going to be in the way. Going to the basketball game tonight, so Phoenix girls, and I want to be on time for that. And congratulations, Rick, on adapting and changing and all that good stuff. I know that the second turn for ECHOLINK has been a bit problematic because oftentimes I think people feel obligated to make another turn but don't have much to say, and this gives them the option to do it or not do it. I think if they have a comment on ECHOLINK, we won't have a problem working on that, but I think a little bit of a shake-up can speed things up and move it along. So congratulations. I will be attempting to implement it on Saturday. Let's see, what else is new? Not much. Didn't do much outside. Turned a bowl that didn't work out the best. I did a little bit of woodworking, and Christmas tree fell over. That was kind of exciting, but we don't really have a big Christmas tree. We've got a modified one, but it was a little off on the balance. So that's it. Over to Joan, EC9KMA, W9UUB.
Thank you, Bruce. KC9KMA. Well, I'm throwing all the cards over, and I'm going to start with Artie, and I will disagree with everyone. I do not think you sound better. You are actually short of breath when you talk. So if you can get your son to bring you to urgent care this morning, I would encourage you, please, to let a doctor listen to your lungs and make sure it's only a cold and not one of the terrible viruses, and that you do get better, because are going to be better. Second message is to Phil. We had no idea you had been in the hospital, and this then is for everyone. If you have a medical emergency and go in the hospital and want us to know and care and pray for you, somebody needs to send us an email somewhere to Annette and Paul to put it on the air, because we had no idea. Third, Alan, I want to let you know that Michelle's wife's name is Judy, and hello, Judy. And Michelle is right that your humidity is 28%. Be careful taking off your sweater. You're going to electrocute yourself. Can you imagine you have to worry about it being too dry? All those years living in the woods near the water, you never saw a dry house in your life. So things do change. And for those of you who are following the saga of rain, odor, and stockpile, we have narrowed it down to 100 in the state. So now that will be today's project to dump various non-chemical GH structures, get rid of it, because we do not like the smell of the cloud of the dust. With the air circulating through the house. So then, I don't have anything else, Rick. What I think would be helpful is for people on ECHOLINK to kind of notice the order of check-in, and then they make their request for the second turn. And their own minds are kind of following along in that order. Please, I hope it works. I hope it works. Over to Brad. Safety 9 KMA.
Thank you, Joan. This morning. Good morning and welcome, and good to hear and get back on again. I'm not always here either, but I do remember the morning I got a good signal report when I built in for Red, what, 3-4 weeks ago. So good to hear Stanley again. Good to hear Bill, sure. And Artie sounds better than yesterday. So hope please pray that you're doing better, Artie. It looks like it's shaping up to be quite the winter. My little girl has come down with pink eye. So being as contagious as that is, we got no clue where it may come from. But I'll have to be real careful, and hopefully I won't have to cancel our Wednesday get together with our friend with Ryan and Rick. Worried about that. I don't know. I read an article the other day where they believe that maybe we're our defenses are down a bit, protected ourselves for so long that the virus is get some words, but that might be. But I don't know. They just seem to be worse all around when you get one as careful as we're being. And I'm always quite careful after I traveled for a living for a while, so I haven't caught anything lately. Thank you, God. And trying to be very careful so that I don't get something. For all who come down and are feeling ill, our best wishes for everybody. Question of the day, it depends. So in my lifetime, I guess I wasn't real good at it. I tried to be on time and close to it. I was usually a tad late, for sure, but now I try a lot harder since I settled down, and that doesn't mean that. And but we'll try to be on time, but I can also be fashionably late, and that depends on the event throwing it and what fashionably late means. How late does it? So that's it from here for now. Back to over to Damien, 89P. Good morning, Damien, from 89UPE. Good morning, all. 89P O'Connell. Thanks, COF, for your report. You're out of the hospital. We knew about the problem because
on time. We always try to be early. Cynthia's mother is always late. But on these theater performances, you're not even allowed in. If you're late, you have to wait till intermission to get a seat. When I used to, if I ever got to church late, I wouldn't even go in myself. Yesterday, I got two handy hints here for saving money. Yesterday, I talked about Quick Trip credit cards, and I got the details and signed up for one yesterday. This is the first time they've ever had this, but if you sign up for a Quick Trip credit card during December, you get 52 pounds of butter. The sign in the store says it's one a week, but the credit card will count how many you are taking out, and you can take them out as quick as you want. You don't have to wait for one a week. Another saving tip here. I've never seen this before, but right now at Fleet Farm, if you buy ammunition for self-defense, it's 15% off. I've never heard of that before. But Cynthia and I were just there, and we select calendars from Fleet Farm, which gives you 20% off. So that's what we use. We've got 3 calendars for next year. $10 off on $50 purchase, so that's 40%. AG9P over to GCA.
AG9P, KD9, Good morning, Damien. Good morning, everyone. Artie, I agree with Joan, and never hurts to go get checked out if you can get there. I think you should make it a point to at least get checked out. But, early, late. My mother was always fashionably late, and that could be as little as 10 minutes, and that could be, I mean, pick a number, an hour. So I hated the look we got. So I am always on time or early, and I would rather be early than late, or at least on time. But like working on the ambulance, we were always early. If you showed up at 7 o'clock, you got frowned on just because the call came in, or there's a lot to do in the morning. So kind of wanted things done before shift started as opposed to starting to go through checklists when shift started. Big happening tonight here. Both kids have their Christmas concert. They actually sing together tonight, so that'll be kind of neat. That'll be the first time that has ever happened. It will happen again next year, and then that'll be it. Then it'll just be one again. So that's really what's going on here this evening. What a football game last night. If anybody watched that, that was quite the game to watch. Nail biter right to the end. Didn't expect that. I think it's going over to Tom, KC9, LNC, KD9, GA. Good morning, Tom.
Yes, sir. KC9, LN Zulu here. Well, in Kiwani, temperature's about 21, 22 degrees. Very light wind compared to yesterday. Went for the early morning walk, and walking south wasn't a problem. Walking north, almost got knocked over once. So pretty good wind out there, and plenty of trash cans in the street during the walk. Let's see. The white stuff is all gone this morning. Costco gas is down to $2.65 a gallon. By the way, the BP station in Algoma is also, according to Gas Buddy, at $2.65. So we'll see how that works. And the water over at the Northport camera there for the ferry line is very calm this morning compared to yesterday. They had waves coming over the top of the borders there at the entrance like that. So it was quite busy yesterday, as you can guess. And as far as being on time, well, growing up with 7 brothers and sisters, wherever we went, we were on time. No question about it. Ma had us wrapped up and ready to go, and hustle. With 7 kids, you can't sit there and make a delay. You got to get everything ready on time. So that's a habit I still have. Usually show up early, but always make sure I'm on time. So other than that, got a few things to do this morning. Another net to run at 9:30, but then got some errands to take care of. And then we'll see what else we can get done today. So hey, everybody have a good one. Take care. Artie and Bill, I think it is. W3TOS, I forget. Hopefully both of you are doing good, getting better, and will be shortly out of your problems. And Artie, KMA suggestion, do it. Find out. KC9, LN Zulu, turning it back to that control. Good morning to all.
That's not going to hurt anything to get over and let them take a look at you and see what's happening, see what's going on. So that may shorten up the situation too for you. So hopefully you'll be able to accomplish that. And while I'm on the subject, Phil, yes, leg infection. That sounds kind of serious to me. And glad to hear that you are out of the hospital. And the only thing is I don't think he's on the board anymore. So I'm not sure. We'll have to look for the next time that he comes along. But, yeah, boy, what a fantastic net this morning. So far we've got 19 check-ins. And I'll pause now to see if there's any late check-ins that would like to check in. Any additional check-ins for the Good Morning Net, please come now. While we're talking about check-ins or attendance, I want to remind you tomorrow night is the Zoom meeting for the Door County Amateur Radio Club, and it's kind of an important one. We're going to introduce the new officers taking over from the previous officers, and we'll be serving our 2-year term, and thanking Jack and the rest, and Bruce. Well, John probably won't be here, but anyway, tomorrow night will be kind of important. So 7 o'clock. Hopefully, all 19 of you that are here now will make it to the meeting on Wednesday night. And let's see, we covered that. And speaking of Zoom, I think one of the things I'm going to bring up at the meeting is possibly the club signing up for a Zoom subscription so we don't get knocked off after that. I think it's still 40-minute time limit, but Jack was generous enough to pick that tab up himself, and we didn't have that situation, so that was a luxury that was really appreciated. Let's see. And Bruce, thank you for calling yesterday. He called when I was out on my way to Milwaukee, and everybody's talking about the wind. And boy, did I experience that firsthand. Hard keeping the car on the road, and some of these trucks were really doing a battle. So that wind was something fierce. And Bruce called during that time, And I got back to him after I got home, and we talked about the new protocol for the net and giving it a try, letting the ECHOLINK people just do a quick check-in to see if they have any comments instead of just going through the list a second time, because sometimes it's completely unnecessary. So we'll give it a try today and just spread them out. I think Joan came up with a good point. If you have the board up on your phone or computer or whatever, if you just kind of go by that order, I don't think we'll have too much. And I think it's pretty hard to double on ECHOLINK, because as soon as the transmit key's up, your transmit button is going to turn gray if you disenable. Let me pause. From anyone on ECHOLINK who would like to make them, so please check in if you'd like to make a comment, and then we'll get back to you right away. So ECHOLINK comments, you're up now.
K9TQC, and I actually did double with G1 AEU.
But with the delays and everything, I imagine it is quite possible to have a double on ECHOLINK, but I was hoping it'd be a little cleaner. So let's go to Jack, K9TQC, and then we're going to go over to Alan, G1AEU. So pick it up, Jack.
As usual, you were spot on. You can't really double easily with ECHOLINK, but with All-Star, you can. So if you're in on ECHOLINK, you're kind of double-proofed. On the other hand, with All-Star, you have to be kind of watching the monitor and see, and you can have, everybody can key up at once, and everybody turns dark blue. That's how I could see AEU was in there. So I forgot to answer the question of the day, and my answer before Carol arrived in the room might perhaps be a little different than it will be at this point, but I would say that we are often late, often a source of frustration, and sometimes it's my fault, I'll be the first to admit, and I think it really depends on the event. I mean, some things it doesn't matter, some things it's critically important, so try to take that into account. On the meeting tomorrow night, and there was one other little tidbit I had, but I guess it'll wait. So over to G1 AEU, K9TQC.
And you don't get a readout of all the others on internet on Linux. The rule on Windows was not on Linux, but you have a two shell. Download ECHOLINK. It's in a time called ECHOLINK. So I don't get additional names, but I run a list here with don't know about, I follow that list on the other computer with it. Anyway, that's it. That's you, yes, that's all. That's you do it.
With the Linux situation, and seeing as how we have the Linux guru in the house, I'm going to throw it back to Jack right away and see if he has any comments regarding that. I kind of bet he does. KA9TQCW9OVV. Back to you, Jack.
Well, I am so sorry. I was a little
bit distracted. Perhaps you can rephrase the question, and I'll be happy to try to answer it.
You want to repeat your question to Jack, T1AEU W9OBV.
I do. People who do get a picture on the screen of who is on the tunnel and of who's holding the other building. Is on the brain screen. The zoo is quite different to windows. I could move windows. I have to use a different microphone. There is this, and the microphone is built in to the computer. So we can do that.
Okay, Alan. Well, the short answer is, depending on the platform you're using, you get a very different interface from all the different ECHOLINK apps. The Android app and the iPhone app give different information. The Windows app actually tells you a lot. There's even a messaging, texting capability you can do between ECHOLINK stations with the Windows app. Linux has an app called QTEL that you can run natively. Excuse me a sec. Conveniently overlapping skill sets. And QTEL is a really old thing, hasn't been updated in forever, so it really depends. And then All-Star has a different set of things. What we're looking at, most of the net controls have this dashboard which shows the call sign and the node numbers and the location, and even the IP address of everybody who's checked in. And so it depends on your written, not so much anything that can be changed at our end. And the thing I kind of lapsed out of my mind before is I think that the way that we used to do ECHOLINK with the second go was very helpful for when people had to battle to get in, but now that everybody's more or less using the dashboard and can see who's on ECHOLINK, I think the new way of doing things is a perfectly great upgrade. So back to you, Rick, W9OBV, KE9TQC.
You are very punctual with your response and very thorough with your explanations, and you word things so we can understand them completely. That is very, very good. And I just want to remind, too, that today is CQ Tuesday. Don't know what kind of turnout we're going to have. I'm going to be looking for Bob because I have a favor to ask of him. I have a mahogany board that's got a bad bowl in it, and I'd like to have him plane that for me. So I'll be looking for him at CQ Tuesday, and let's see. What else? Let's go to comments from everyone else. We're creeping up on 9 o'clock, so what a net we've had this morning. 19 stations are present, or have been present. So let's go to general comments from everyone else.
AC9 KMA.
It's interesting. I think it was my brother Brad that mentioned we had been hunkered down for so long with the COVID thing. I think some of our resistance has dropped somewhat. And if we think back to early on in COVID, when we were in the middle of our pandemic and we were all locked down, Dr. Luke, who checks into this net quite often or occasionally, mentioned that that exact thing may happen as we stay out of circulation. So I don't know. I hadn't had a cold in years and years, and man, I've had 2 of them just this year alone, and they were nasty. And right now, my wife Sue has a nasty cold, and oh well. Just thought it was interesting to point that out. KC9KMA, and then you're going to toss it over to Danny and AG9P, and then we're going to get out of here.
Thank you, Rick. And just to further clarify something Jack was saying, Alan, there is a website the net controls use, and it's called Supermon, and it gives us a list of everyone who is checked in, and it's separate from the ECHOLINK and I assume All-Star node. So I'll go ahead and send that link to everyone on the Good Morning Net in case anyone else would like to be able to look and see who's on ECHOLINK. So second, I think the new no automatic second round went fine. There was a double quickly resolved. I think if every net control, and I think we do, is looking at the board, you'll see the 2 calls light up blue, so you know that both of them are trying to ask for a second turn. I do think it's way more efficient. Way to go, Bruce. Also, the answer to the question was just exactly like Bruce's. I think it's curious that those who post more activities or dinner parties have the same reaction. If it's a personal party or a meal, coming early doesn't do the hostess any favors, and I completely agree with that. And I have noticed that if you have a ham radio gathering at your house, you better be ready 30 minutes early because people are coming, and believe me when I tell you that is not helpful. So there you go. Over to you, Damien. How early did people come to visit you together? Good morning.
Doctors are telling me that people are refusing to let their pets have rabies shots now because of all the media comments on the vaccination. AG9B back to them.
Joan, very good point. I think it went quite well, and as long as the net control operators have the board, It's still up to individual net operators, I think. We're not going to stand here and dictate how you run your net, but anyway, it seems to work out quite well, and I think that makes a lot of sense. I really do. Thanks to Bruce. And what else was I going to say? I think that is just about it. It's coming up on 5 after 9, but really a great net here this morning, and it just shows how wonderful the Good Morning net can be. So join us again here tomorrow, Wednesday, for the Good Morning net, when I believe Tom, KC9LN Zulu, who does an excellent job, will be the master of ceremony. And then later that evening at 7 o'clock, we'll have the Zoom meeting. And as I mentioned before, if you need the link, the invite to the Zoom meeting, send someone an email, Jack or myself or someone else who has the invite, probably all the net control operators. Send us an email. Most of our emails are good up on QRZ, so if you know our call sign, you'll know our email. And with that, I'm going to thank radio station WDOR out of Sturgeon Bay for allowing us to use their facilities, and especially their tower, to put our antenna high up in the air so we get really good coverage. And we also have a space in one of their buildings to house our equipment. We really, really do appreciate that, and we think of it often. And so be sure your radios are tuned to WDOR radio station. That's not a monetary thing. Okay, this is W9OBV. I'm returning to W9DOR repeater back to normal amateur use. Have a great day, everyone. Stay safe, stay virus-free, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow morning. 73, everyone. W9OBV is off and clear.
A9T2C, KC9KMA.
Yes, ma'am. I switched over to RF. Am I getting in okay?
Fine for me. I just was going to say, I tried to go back to my, let's see what day it came in. Anyway, the invitation to the Zoom meeting, I have it here, but the way you sent it, it has the other recipients hidden. I was just going to reply all and forward it to everybody so it's at the top of their mailbox. And so November 18th at 1:57 is when I got mine. If you could scroll back to yours and resend, that would save you a lot of hither and thithering. And then it would also serve to put this email closer to the top of people's list of emails, if you know what I mean. Back to you.
Take a look, and I suppose I could resend the whole thing if necessary, but need to clutter up people's inboxes, but happy to do whatever you think would be helpful.
It's certainly up to you. I just thought if 5 or 6 people ask you to send them a link, it's easier just to send it to everybody, and then we've all got it. But, yeah, it looks like it does not say, it says to no recipients. So I can't just forward it to everybody myself.
All right, well, probably the easiest thing would be I will just resend it then. That would be the easiest if I can find it. And for what it's worth, I don't know, now that we're post-net, I found a really interesting tool that allows an RF station talking on the repeater to get immediate feedback on their audio level. I don't know if anybody that's hanging around doesn't have any need to rush off urgently is interested, but we can do a test of that if anybody wants to.
KB9DIP, speaking of that, your RF level is much better than your ECHOLINK or All-Star level. You're still, you know, it's always distorted. It's even when you're not, the slightest inflection causes distortion. So there's something really hot in your modulation on ECHOLINK or All-Star. KB9DIP.
Well, Larry, based on your feedback, I have tweaked and tuned everything to try to suppress it, and I don't know what to do other than that. So the problem is I have like 4 different radios and multiple different ways of getting in, so I'm almost always using a different combination of equipment, which makes it difficult to have it be adequate in one situation and not problematic in another. But what I have here that will allow anybody, but it won't work over a remote connection like All-Star or ECHOLINK because of the bouncing. So anybody with a direct RF signal into the repeater can just get immediate feedback as to how their signal sounds. So that's, I appreciate your feedback, but I have responded to it, and apparently nothing seems to really correct it, so apologies. I guess I'm not quite sure what to do. Back to you, KB9DIP, K9CQC.
Yeah, I guess there's the rub. RF is fine. And when you go through the internet, something is amiss. There's trouble afoot. Anyway, KB9DIP. See you on, what is it, tomorrow? See you tomorrow, KB9DIP, Chris.
KB9NN would love to do a modulation check.
Okay, John, what I'm going to do is I'm now disconnected from the Sturgeon Bay repeater. I'm going to need to disconnect everybody that's on ECHOLINK or All-Star, which I can do. And then what I want you to do is make a transmission. You know, you identify your call, just say something. You're not really trying to talk to anybody. You're just trying to put a relatively brief, but not like a 5-second, 6-second transmission on the repeater, and then listen. And anybody else that wants to follow suit, just make a transmission and then listen. And then when I hear a gap and nobody else is transmitting, I'll cut it off, because what you cannot really do is have a conversation past this thing, because it'll be responding to everything, and it gets very confusing. But as an isolated just sort of assessment, it's actually a pretty cool tool. So anybody else that's interested, after John, you'll make a transmission, and then you'll hear a response from this bot that will indicate whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And then you'll hear his transmission repeated, and then give it a little pause, and then try a transmission of your own. But again, don't try to maintain any conversation, because that will raise Cain with it. But we'll see if anybody's interested in getting that response. So I will clear the All-Star board, and then we're starting with John. Anybody else that's interested, hopefully that makes sense. Any questions, John?
Negative. I'll wait for you. Go ahead. Thanks for doing this. I appreciate it.
Well, Larry kind of triggered it with his frequent comments about my audio, so it was kind of an interesting tool, but sadly it doesn't work via remote connection. So I got to do a little work here, and then I'll go first. Why don't we do that? You'll hear me do it, and then just after a pause, do the same sort of thing, and then anybody can follow me. And then when I hear a silence, I'll turn off the bot, and then this repeater goes back to normal use. K9CQC.
Okay, 69 KMA, 69 GU.
DAUWD. John, let's wait until these guys finish up, and then we'll try that audio check. KA9TQC.
Okay, sounds good. 89 and then.
This is KA9TQC making a brief transmission for an audio quality check. Audio level is normal. This is KA9TQC making a brief transmission for an audio quality check. Sorry, I couldn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything. Sorry, I couldn't hear anything.
This is AB9NN making a brief transmission for an audio check.
I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything. Sorry, I couldn't hear anything.
With an audio check.
Anything. Okay, I had to turn it off because G1AU is reconnecting. I have to clear the board. So let me try it again, and then just give it about 10 seconds, John, and then try it. What happens is it responds to this all-star squelch tail without audio, and it triggers a couple of false reports. So that's what you're hearing. So we'll try it again here. Just stand by a moment. Okay, I maybe didn't make that clear. John, wait about 10 seconds and go ahead. I have to clear everybody's intake. We got another guy coming back automatically on ECHOLINK, so I guess this isn't going to work. But when it works, it's pretty cool. I guess you'll have to take my word for it, but I'm kicking them off and they're coming back as fast as I can kick them off, so such is life. Sorry, we'll try it another time. K9.
Okay, no problem. Thanks for trying. AB9NN. Have a great day. This is AB9NN. Bruce, are you out there?